Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Cody Quinlan. I run Vondervogel Official on Instagram. A lot of you might know me through that, but I'm actually here to talk to you guys about a new endeavor, and I'm kind of switching gears and going off on in a different direction. And I created a account called The Odinic Beatnik, and that's on Instagram as well. So check that out and follow along if you want to hear more about what I'm going to get into there. And that's basically going to be a page that is focused on my 16 years of traveling as an American nomad, and the thought processes that I've had as being a modern pagan and the things that I've come across throughout those times. So it'll be a lot of storytelling and things like that, but to get right to the point, with it being about trying to touch the mythological in modern times. And what I mean by that is that we have plenty of access to old mythology and tons of archetypes and characters that we can read about, and we should read about, and should also try to use the concept and the ideas of these archetypes as compasses in our life. With that being said, I want to, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm making an effort to live now and do things now, think in ways now, and act in ways now that treads a line that I think is thin and where I think life is best, and that is between reality, and by reality I mean society in the modern world, and the mythological. And by the mythological I mean unchanging concepts and virtues that have always been there. And so I'm going to get right to it and give you guys something tangible that you can implement into your life right away. And so it's, first of all, I got this book in my hand right here. If you guys can, I don't know if you can read that. The lighting's pretty bad. It is called Hero Ego in Search of Self, and it is a Jungian reading of Beowulf. And the reason, well, first of all, this is a great book. If you're into Beowulf and you're into Jungian psychology, I highly recommend this book. But the reason why I brought this book up is the first section. It talks a lot about Grendel as the shadow self. And I'm not going to really get into dissecting all the aspects of the shadow self. I'm just going to point out that I believe that one of the greatest ways to check your ego is through physical trial and ordeal. A simple way to put that is training. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now that if you are a man and you are not training, you are wrong. And you should probably find something else to follow. Because if you are not training and you do not think that is wrong, then living and trying to touch the mythological is not for you, and you probably won't attain it anyways. So, checking your ego with physical training. We can get into that all different ways, from strength training, endurance training, martial arts, street fighting. I mean, it's been said many, many times by many people, it is good to get punched in the face, because no matter what, you will learn something about yourself. You will learn that you are not as fragile as you thought, and that you're tough and you can handle it. Or you'll realize that you're not as tough as you thought, and maybe you should train so that getting punched in the face doesn't suck so much. But what that has to do with Beowulf is, since the whole point of this is living a life in the attempt of touching the mythological, is I have created a Beowulf exercise challenge. And this challenge is called the Row of the Weather Geats. And what it is a quest to row 100,000 kilometers. Or I'm sorry, meters. Kilometer. God, that would be really fucking far. but 100,000 meters. And this is something that I thought of with my brother Derek, and he's on Instagram too, and his handle is Panzer Vlad. That's PANZER _ VLAD. You can follow along with him. The dude is definitely a perfect example, and actually he's the epitome of living in the now in a mythological manner. And he also is interested in training men to become stronger. So if that's something that you're interested in, you should hit him up and tell him that I sent you. But the rules of this challenge are, well, I guess I should back up. The idea behind this is to do things that are not only out of the ordinary, but that are over the top. Because the characters in mythology are larger than life and over the top. It is often things that are not actually attainable physically for the sake of inspiring a level of tenacity that is beyond human. It is the pursuit of attaining a level of physical, mental, and spiritual prowess that is beyond human. So 100,000 meters, that was just a big number that Derek and I just picked, and that's like roughly 62 miles. We tried to do some research on the trip that the Spear Danes took in Beowulf. When they sailed to King Hrothgar, they sailed out of southern Sweden and they went to a northeastern part of Denmark. And of course, Google Maps, takes you over the land. It doesn't take you over the sea. And we don't know exactly what point of southern Sweden they left from. It could be as little as 30 miles. It could potentially be as far as 350 miles. So we just picked 100,000 meters because it seemed good. That's a big number. And we want to invite you guys to get in on this challenge with us and quest to do this number, this 100,000 meters. And the only rule is that every time you row, you need to go at least 2,000 meters. We will accept nothing less than 2,000 meters per session. You can do as many as you want in a session, just no less than 2,000. And there is no time limit. Now, obviously, there's going to be probably a bit of an unspoken challenge or contest to see who's the first one done. Why wouldn't there be? But there is no time limit. I don't care if this takes you 1 month or if it takes you 6 months. It's just kind of like a merit badge, a thing that you're giving to yourself to know that you rode 100,000 meters with a group of dudes who are also questing to achieve that same goal. And by today's standards, I would say that that's mythological. There's people who do rowing competitively, and who knows how many hundreds of thousands of meters they will row in their lifetimes. But we're also not getting paid to row. This is a quest that we've come up with for ourselves, just to test our mettle. And we want to invite you guys to do it with us. Derek and I are about a quarter of the way done. I hit 25,000 meters last gym session, and right now my wife and I were at our home, and we just got off work, and we're about to have a little bit of food, and then we're going to go to the gym. And I usually start my workout session with rowing at least 2,000 meters. Sometimes I'm ambitious and I've gone as far as 10,000 meters, but I find that when I do that on a day that I'm also lifting, my my lifts and my stamina suffer pretty greatly. So I'll probably just do 2,000 today, and when we get to the gym, we'll get some footage there and we'll talk some more about it. But we hope that you guys will join in on this quest for 100,000 meters with us. And if you do, let us know. Send in pictures. Tag it. Row of the Weather Geats. And Geats is Geats. Row of the Weather Geats. So hashtag Row of the Weather Geats. That's going to be how we keep track of who's involved in this challenge. And we hope to see some of you guys rowing soon.